or do we go to 3?
Thank you, Jordan. It has been a long weekend of Rainbow Six here at the APAC Finals, and Aerowolf has surprised everybody. Can they seal the deal here? 2-0 against the Aussies Wildcard, or will we see the home crowd give Wildcard enough strength to muster the courage and pull through on Bank? It'll have to be a blitz of a game here as we get into the operator bans.
It'd be funny if you said then Blitz gets banned, but it's Lion that gets banned. Interesting choice from Aerowolf. We have not seen them ban Lion pretty much all season long, and instantly they go for that. I think they really want a very free flowing roam game, and they're okay with the Nomad in play. Of course, the second ban is going to be Mira. It's a very meta bomb. What am I saying?
Ban.
Yeah, it's
very meta ban.
That's right, exactly. Because once you strat for no Mira, you realize you have no room for Mira in your strats.
So, there we go. I love this one. We've talked a lot about shield operators. Wildcard chose not to ban a shield here. They chose to instead ban the Hibana, make that hard breach relying on those Mavericks instead. But, you know, Monty's still in, Clash is out. So we do still have that shield operator ban, and we've seen how effective Aerowolf can be with that Clash, especially in the match yesterday against Fnatic. However, this is a new map. This is Bank. This is one of Wildcard's better maps. We'll have to see whether they can pull through.
Derpe using the 6th pick to tease out Caveira, and then he goes over to the Echo, so fair enough. Echo is a very strong operator, and I would say definitely better than a Caveira pick against a pro-level team, especially one that just taken down Fnatic and Norengo. But at the same time, the Clash ban, I think they might be operating on some older information, because in recent times we haven't really seen Aerowolf play that much Clash on Bank specifically.
Ysera used to always go Clash on that top floor.
On the second floor, yeah.
Yeah, top floor, but it hasn't happened quite so much. For Wildcard, though, something that is an interesting side note, interesting effect of this Clash ban is it means that both Echo and Maestro are still on the cards, and that's very, very rare that we see that happen. I think in all of the games this entire day, we've seen either one of those operators banned out. And that's just not the case today. Both of those heavy anchorage operators, those Plantinal and information gathering operators, are on the table, which means Aerowolf will struggle in all likelihood to get these plants down when it comes down to that site presence. But a very aggressive play from Ethan, runs all the way out back alley. He does secure that kill onto Speakeasy, neutralize some of that counter roaming utility from the Jackal, but there is that good refrag. It's not such an issue for Wildcard though, as they did already have that Jaeger utility utilized. There is a good reply though, again from Asterix, all the way up on the parking front, takes down Neophyter nice and early.
Less than 30 seconds had elapsed, and it's already a 4v3, and sizable players and operators off the board. Of course, Speakeasy plus Jackal versus Doc, Neo, Jaeger, Ethan. Ethan, of course, the captain for Wildcard, and he can do a lot of damage, even if he's dead. So not looking insurmountable for Wildcard, but of course, Aerowolf definitely in the driver's seat, especially since the Jackal wouldn't really have been of too much use against the Maestro Evil Eyes. Speakeasy off the board, of course, different thing, but we'll see what Aerowolf can do with this. We have seen them pull off 2v5s against Fnatic, so this is definitely doable with a man count advantage.
Slowly assessing the situation, getting rid of a lot of utility. Wow, Derp, this is such a good opportunity for him to get a freebie, and he does. Hysterix is down. That's a Thatcher gone. Bit unwise there to move in without clearing out that banana balcony. Did also see earlier Lunar Metal destroy that Maestro camera near Janitors, but Diesel, the Maestro himself, is still here and he's getting aggressive. He may well have a player jump in behind him into the stock room itself. That's mental, goes in right now, and Diesel's getting pinched. He gets taken out now. Just one player left on Wildcard, all up to Derpe. He's an Echo, a great operator with a fantastic gun and a lot of utility, but there's 3 players to find and a whole minute for them to make this attack work. It's not such a struggle for the Singaporeans. They go up on the first round with an attack onto CEO.
So Wildcard tried the same thing that they did on the previous map, hit Aerowolf with the early aggression. Problem was, Aerowolf, you know, you said they maybe weren't warmed up. They took a while to get warmed up on Clubhouse, but it was very quick. And over here, they were more than ready for it. It became a 3v4 so quickly for Wildcard. And Aerowolf, I think they've sent this message loud and clear to Wildcard that, well, if you're going to play the aggro game, we can do it just as well.
Yeah, we have seen Wildcard continually try to push that aggression, take the fight to Aerowolf with Ethan going for that aggressive run out. It was traded out, so it didn't have a huge impact. And after that, Wildcard, they were always trying to look for a pick. If they can find them, they want to look for one. And as a whole, Aerowolf have been playing a bit more in sync, not necessarily playing to get one cheeky kill here, one cheeky kill there, but overall, clear out utility. What's the obstacle that we need to deal with next? Deal with that. They bring a very utility-rich lineup of operators to deal with everything Wildcard has to throw at them. Now, one thing they do add in to the mix is the IQ instead of that Maverick, opting for only one hard breacher on bank. So a good read from Aerowolf, expecting Wildcard not to be going downstairs, a rotating bomb site. Very clever there, expecting that Wildcard will reattempt CEO office, so they won't need the 2 hard breaches. Mentalist now, with that IQ, can detect all of those Echo drones, namely, which are otherwise invisible, which will certainly help out, especially if it comes down to a late round plant.
This is a brilliant angle from Derpe right away through the bullet holes, and Mentalist 2 below. He came in so quick, so ready to take those gunfights. But, of course, single hard breacher over here is a bit of a concern, because if Ysera goes down, well, they don't have any avenue into the bomb site. So quick, Hysterics is already going to get Neofighter taken off the board. He's down to about 30 HP. The Doc could have juiced him up, but, you know, different teams probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be too happy with that right after Hysterics takes off his head. Now, Wildcard do replace that position of Neofighter holding near the elevators. It is Derpe at the very top. He has this incredibly cheeky angle, not one that we're likely to see Hysterics peak, and if he does, he'll certainly lose it. Now, this unreinforced wall does prove a threat to both teams, as that angle can be utilized both ways. Mentalist below is looking to clear out any utility through the floor from below. I believe he's already done quite a bit of that, using his scanner and pistol to clear out anything on the objective. Now Wildcard waiting for the fight to come to them. A smart move, and that's aggressive from Diesel. Who does that? He just peeks right up into Skylight and gets 1 kill. Very cheeky angle, very cheeky decision there from Wildcard, and it works out well. Now I think they have to start to play a bit more passive. This aggression works, but it can easily give away the advantage to Aerowolf as well.
That was exactly what CAG were doing to Wildcard earlier on, and clearly they have learned some tricks from the Japanese opponents. You know, going to their hometown, they will have to play like the Japanese a little bit. And Mentalist coming up the main stairs now. I think he's taken out the cameras. It's a very strong position if it is not held by the defenders. Because Emorin right now, he is piling on as well. Ysera goes down. It's only 3 members left. And Hysterics is quite lit up as well. Derpe takes him down, Mentalist. And that is looking like Aerowolf's attack has fallen to pieces.
Disjointed now. Aerowolf try to push up as much as they can. Speakeasy misses that kill he really should have gotten. Diesel does take a bit of damage for it, and it looks like the Maestro will re-peak. Lands enough shots on the castle to get the injure. Now we'll smoke off the cross so we can get more aggressive. We'll have to deal with the player inside of Elevator, but Hysterics also finds one. This is effectively a 2v2. Make that a 1-on-2, but the Jackal turns the wrong way. And there you have Wildcard make a response here and adapt to win that CEO defense.
Excellent response from Wildcard right away. Diesel really, I think, turned the game on its head. And then, of course, Derpe's Echo plays, they were the icing on the cake for Wildcard. Really well done. Positioning from Derpe, it was simple, but it was oh so effective. You have to keep yourself unpredictable, even if you are a side player, because if you get droned and you stay in the same place, well, that is an easy kill for your opponents.
Let's have a look now at the third defense for Wildcard. They will likely head downstairs, and we can see Aerowolf expecting that. They bring both hard breaches, unlike that previous round where they opted to get rid of the Mavericks. So one thing to note for Aerowolf's lineup is they don't have that IQ to locate those yokai drones. They'll have to rely on their bare eyes to locate and shoot them, or those Thatcher EMPs to disable those yokai drones. But no, I really feel like Aerowolf should be bringing that IQ here, maybe potentially instead of that Jackal. Because the Jackal, you can roam clear without it, but you can't really locate all of this information gathering utility, Echo, Mozzie, and Valkyrie without that IQ. You can try your darndest, but I guess we'll see how it works.
Now, one thing I wanted to touch on is that Wildcard were the ones who banned Hibana, but Aerowolf are very, very comfortable with playing this Maverick plus Thermite combo, and these are the players who usually play them as well, Ysera and Mentalist C. So they love this combo, they're very proficient at it, and it's going to be interesting to see whether Wildcard are able to counteract that, because even if one of them goes down in regular Southeast Asian Pro League, the other usually steps up, gets enough of the reinforcement opened or holds in the reinforcement, and Aerowolf do tend to win the round nonetheless.
This level of information gathering operators from Wildcard makes me think they'll want to play that heavy roam, but so far it looks like Aerowolf are dealing with it quite well. Diesel playing on the smoke at the moment, trying to hold control of server as long as possible. We do have Wildcard players still roaming inside of this open area, of course reinforcing the hatches above and opening the hatches below so that they can rotate down as needed, get back to the objective. Neofighter wants to make this a C4 kill through the floor, but he doesn't have much info. He drops down the hatch, not sure whether that was deliberate actually. Does open one cheeky angle all the way up, and despite having that Jackal to help with the information gathering on the roam, Aerowolf are taking a very long time to deal with these roamers and flush them downstairs.
Usually typical of them on bank, they really want to make this as thorough a roam clear as they can, because flanking was one of their Achilles heels previously on maps such as bank, and now one is trying to get punchy on the server stairs. Speakeasy will be the first to receive if he gets too aggressive, and I think that is Diesel with the smoke.
Indeed, Diesel is there with the smoke. Was that thermite charge destroyed, or was it taken off? There you go. It was just taken off. So Ysera not going for that thermite charge as of yet. Ideally, you open up this hatch before you start to push this player out. But in fact, Diesel just gets flushed out by the threat of it. Ethan does get a cheeky C4 kill, and now Aerowolf pushing down into server. They should have this control before too long.
Very nice angle from Ethan with that C4. Clearly they had information and they had the angle as well. Mentalist trying to get that second red hall hatch open. It doesn't. And one more C4 being prepped right away. And Ysera is going to get the wall. So 30 seconds left. Wildcard, they are in a decent position, especially with the man-kill advantage. But the denial utility maybe is not that strong. But of course, Derpy has to come in.
20 seconds now. Wildcard have 5 alive. Worst comes to worst, they can just refrag this out. Aerowolf knows that they have to play aggressively. They can't go for a passive plant, and there are so many kills, but they're going towards Wildcard.
Wow.
One player left to make it happen. Make that none. I think the crowd speaks for themselves.
Speakeasy couldn't do anything, but it was Diesel doing all the work. He delayed the push from the server stairs really well, and then when he realized his position was untenable, he just defaulted back to side and then took down, I think, 3.
Now the Aussies back into the advantage, not something we've seen for quite some time in this series. We do feel like they are the underdogs here. Aerowolf, they have consistently performed well at APAC LAN events, just never making it that spot to the Global Pro League Finals. They've broken that curse, and as Jordan was saying earlier, are they capable of flipping the curse on its head and becoming those APAC Pro League champions? Wildcard do have something to say about it. They've always lived under the shadow of Fnatic, that ANZ team, the ANZ team who has been to so many events. And Wildcard living in that shadow, they've perhaps outgrown them. They've taken that next step, and they're in the grand final.
Neofighter with a kind of a revenge tour right away. He was dropped by Fnatic, didn't get to play at the 6th Invitational this year. Well, he's going to get to play next year with Wildcard.
That's right, and there is full chance that we'll see Fnatic at the 6th Invitational as well. However, they will have to qualify through another means. Their spot is not locked in yet.
Now, of course, Wildcard on their whole, they have been on a revenge tour all of this weekend. So far, they're not in the best of positions to do it against Aerowolf as well. But if they can keep Speakeasy quiet as they have done in these 3 rounds, that will really help them out a great ton.
Aerowolf are on the attacking half, and with both Echo and Maestro on the board, I personally think that these defenses should have plenty of operators. Just so many strong operators on the board that can be utilized that I think the defense shouldn't really struggle. The attackers also don't have Hibana, so they'll have to use Maverick for everything. Or Thermite, of course. Nonetheless, let's talk about this next round. It is a defense for Wildcard of the Archives and Teller's bomb site. Reinforcements upstairs as well will assist in a hold of this top floor. He's also relaying to his team plenty of information on those players outside. Ethan very tempted to go jump down and peek out aggressively. Imorin's actually the man to do it, peeking through those windows, but no, he doesn't find anything just yet. As Lunametal repelled down to a safe position. Hysteric's also going to chuck a drone in lobby, so it would be unwise for Wildcard to aggressively peek those windows.
Aerowolf are playing this pretty safe right now, and that is to their advantage. Of course, Wildcard would probably have gotten that kill with the way that Imorin, Ethan, and even Derpe are playing this, and Derpe's just going to go downstairs. He's going to try and pop some bullet Hysteric's way. So gonna get healed back up. So this is just excellent stuff. I mean, both the French ACOGs on the first floor near the bomb site after defaulting off, wasting so much time for Aerowolf. But the problem is, this is where usually teams begin to lose the round when they can't fight the vertical game. But Lunametal gets C4'd. Unfortunately for Wildcard, he's only downed and not out. He can still use his sledgehammer, as can Speakeasy with his sidearm shotgun.
Yeah, as you said, this vertical play will likely come into effect for Aerowolf. They need to kill as many players on the bomb site as they can. But the thing is, even when you get in the bomb site, the story is not over, and Hysterix demonstrates that. Makes his entrance into Tellers, but he's shut down by Diesel. His teammates weren't ready for that aggressive push, and Wildcard were definitely ready to receive him. 40 seconds now to go. Emo finds one onto Luna as well. A great job with the Deagle. Aerowolf look to be locating, trying to rotate for this front push. And what is this aggression from Imorin again? A Deagle to the head. Just Ysera and Speakeasy left, but it looks like their chances have been nullified. Pushing from the front, Wildcard stimmed up once again. What can you possibly do here when Wildcard's going crazy? Imorin is just digging everyone. What?
Flawless round from Wildcard Gaming. I think he got those last two with the Deagle as well. Yes, he did. Oh no, this was with the MPX. Come on, you should have stuck to the Deagle.
Shame. He's all out for the content. He's out there for the content. That's what he wants. That's what he cares about.
There we go.
Look at that cheeky smile. Imorin on the right there. One of the craziest, nuttiest players in ANZ has been for a very long time. And, well, looks like Wildcard come into their own here. Got a 2-point lead over Aerowolf on their defensive half. Now it's a time for Aerowolf. They need to get their ducks in order. They're going to take a tactical timeout right now. You can see Ysera telling his team what he has to say. Lunametal leaning in. Let's discuss this issue. See what they can do to turn the tide. Rack up a few more attacking wins before we switch over to the half.
One thing I've always noticed, that the man nearest your screen, Hysterix, he's always been a fair bit disconnected from these team chats. Now, he is a quiet person, but perhaps, you know, he should maybe get more involved because he's been having a decent time. So nothing really more for him to add, I guess, tactically. But overall,
he's more of a listener.
Yeah,
I mean, his role, he does what he needs to be doing for the team. He is a fragging flex player. He's often the first man in, but he's also the one sent to hunt roamers and given that permission to go a bit further away from where the rest of the team is and take that little bit of agency that he needs to help complement the team. So Aerowolf taking that tactical timeout, they've decided to 6-pick on to the Montaigne, so Wildcard won't be aware of this Monty pick just yet. Wildcard banned it on map 1, not here on map 2. They wanted to get rid of the Hibana. It's a staple for Bank, which gives Aerowolf that freedom to fall back onto the Montaigne when things aren't looking so great. If there's any time that Aerowolf need to pull out this trump card, it's right now.
So the first floor roam clear is going to be imperative in this attack because They have Ethan on the Valkyrie, and he's likely to be downstairs with C4 in hand, and that's really the only direct threat to Montagne that you can present. Of course, you can catch him out in a crossfire, as Derpy, you saw in the previous round, he played it so smart on the second floor with the Echo. Now he's on the Maestro, don't think it's going to be too much of a difference for him.
But what's funny, actually, they switch off onto the Maestro instead of the Echo right when Aerowolf picks the Monty. Now, Maestro is actually not that great against Monty. The only thing that the Maestro... Oh, wait, this... Surely not! He spots out the Monty. I was about to talk about that interaction, but fortunately, Luna dodges those bullets. What I was saying is that the Echo can stun the Monty and force him to drop his shield, whereas the Maestro can only be effective against the Monty if he actually sees that Monty's exposed backside as he pushes forward.
Now Luna Metal looking pretty in pink, going up to the roof, and this is an interesting decision for the Montagne player. Perhaps he's just going to chill out there until he wants to make the push with the rest of his team, or it's... What on earth are they planning with this
Full
Montagne?
rotate. It's a big rotate all the way to the front side, and as long as there's no lesion from Wildcard, which Aerowolf don't necessarily know, but we do, there is no lesion. Wildcard shouldn't actually face too much trouble trying to force that Montagne up those front stairs. Luna Metal, yeah, it is a full rotate, absolutely. They're telegraphing this with their drones. Monty likely to push up those banana stairs right there on the west side. We'll have to deal with any presence from smoke. That's Diesel, who could stilt out this push, but time, yeah, there you go. Diesel making a rotate. Perfect timing for it as well. Looks like the call has been made. Neophyte now cautious of these extra players, and Diesel will use these smoke grenades to push the Monty back and hold him at bay for as long as possible.
Now, this is going to be a very tough crossfire for the Montagne to fight. In fact, this is the type of crossfire that Aerowolf set up against Xavier Esports when they beat them here on Bank with the smoke and the barbed wire. It's going to take 50 HP away, and there we go, drop the shield, and Neophyte takes his head off. Excellent play against the Montagne. Emarine takes one more down, River Hysterics can trade him out, but Aerowolf's Montagne decision has backfired really hard. They made a full rotate, perhaps selected the wrong spawn, wasted a lot of time. They're not even in the man count advantage now.
3 versus 4 for Aerowolf, and Mental, you can see he's still on this lobby side. He wants to force this issue, but his drone didn't spot out Ethan. Ethan likely to find this one. He does a swift headshot with the MPX. Hysterics still on these windows, not safe to rappel inside, and now he's exposed to lobby as well. Takes 1 bullet for his troubles, and of course, Wildcard have the diffuser safely in their possession. Speakeasy can track now Ethan. He knows that he's no longer inside of lobby itself, which does give Speakeasy the opportunity to go for the diffuser, but now Neophyter decides to get aggressive right back on him.
And I don't think they know he's getting pinched is Neophyter. Who's going to see who first? Neophyter, he can't land the shot. The bars are what's going to deny him. And almost getting the pick up. But Hysterics, 15 seconds to work with. Speakeasy gets cut down. And so does Hysterics. And Wildcard seem to be running away with this. It's a 4-1 lead here on their own map pick of Bank. Can Aerowolf offer them any significant resistance?
Wildcard have just won 3 different bomb sites back-to-back, CCTV, Tellers, and now CEO. Aerowolf decided to go for that Montagne pick. Their push from the east side, it wasn't working, trying to cover that skylight stairwell, clear out the players from inside of stock. That aggression from Wildcard was fully countering them. They decided to go for that Monty push up through Banana, and now the thing that I really liked from Wildcard, yes, they rotated their smoke all the way over towards Banana nice and early, but key here is that Diesel threw his first smoke grenade behind the Montagne. So if the Monty had decided to push back, he would have taken a lot of damage. So Luna Metal said, okay, instead of pushing back and taking that extra damage, I'm going to push forward until I'm out of the smoke. Then what happened? Diesel throws another smoke grenade in front of him. He's trapped between 2 smoke grenades. He can't possibly get out of there alive, especially because he'd already taken half his HP in damage. He decided to go for a desperate attempt, aim down sights, try to take one of these players out, but Neophyter was also ready for that. So individually, from Diesel in particular, really good play, but as a team, Wildcard, Neo and Diesel both, plus whoever was making callouts on those cameras, really well done in teamwork to hard counter what Aerowolf put up to the table.
Really, it was indeed beautiful stuff from Wildcard, and this is what you really wanted to see. They couldn't quite bring it on the first match, but as I said, if they recuperate, if they collect themselves, they can really turn the heat onto Aerowolf. Now, of course, it is far from done and dusted. But one thing I'm very surprised about is that Lunametal made the change from Montagne to IQ while attacking the basement bomb site. Now, this is where I would think the Montagne would work out the absolute best for them.
I feel like they need the IQ definitely, but I still reckon switch off the Jackal, especially if you're bringing that Montaigne. You already have 2 smoke grenades. You don't need that from the Jackal. As long as you can establish this roam clear, which is actually easier said than done, because Wildcard, once again, playing a very aggressive roam with Mozzie to get information. Diesel's even upstairs right now. I believe he was actually in the blue stairs. Speakeasy going to track out some of these players. He spots the castle. Immorin gets straight back down to bomb site in a moment. Speakeasy will get that information from the Jackal pings. Good job so far from Aerowolf to clear those players and force them downstairs. But as you said, when it comes down to the execute, that's still where they've been struggling.
Indeed, and maybe Aerowolf trying to get ahead of themselves. They won the first map. They have been really killing it so far this weekend. But they have not really looked up to snuff here on Bank. Perhaps Bank is just a weak map for them. But Speakeasy in particular, 6 rounds in, he might, just like Neofighter on the first one, finish this half with 0 kills.
Speakeasy has been a bit cold today, which is surprising because he's impressed me so much earlier. His castle barricades from Wildcard doing so much to delay Aerowolf. That simple rotation that usually you make between the kitchen and that main blue stairs skylight area, that's just takes so much longer when you have to get rid of that castle barricade, wasting a lot of the Maverick torch as well. So Aerowolf just being forced back to delay it as much time as possible. Diesel now can sit way back, and we have plenty of C4s plus these gas canisters that can deny Aerowolf. 58 seconds to go. Diesel's ready to throw his first smoke babe.
They have Evil Eyes and Yokai Drones to contend with as well. Ysera's going to start to bait out the utility right away.
Oh, it gets shot!
Wow! Wildcard did it just now against CAG, but the C4, it rings true. Hysterics is good down as well. And geez, this is not looking good at all for Aerowolf. What was looking decent is now just gone to pieces.
And the real difference was there are also 2 Maestro cameras. Even if the Maestro, the C4s, and the smoke hadn't worked, we also have the Yokai drones. Wildcard have so much denial. Luna does get rid of that Evil Eye, but Diesel finds another kill. Luna and Hysterics, the last players left. Luna trying to get this diffuser down. He's getting shot by the other Maestro camera, and he's so low for it. Neofighter's going to push on to find this kill. Diesel gets taken out by Luna. Luna gets fed again, but Ethan to close it out with the Glazer camera. And we're now looking at Wildcards running away with this round.
This is some gorgeous stuff on defense from Wildcard. I'm not sure where exactly it came from, because these guys were looking pretty tired, but it seems that the fire has been lit underneath their seats after that clubhouse loss, where they were looking good for the comeback train. Couldn't quite make it happen. Now it's time for Aerowolf to start a comeback train of their own. They haven't been down so much this entire weekend.
That's right. In fact, they've lost 5 rounds now to Wildcard on this map. That's the most they've won on a single map during this entire tournament, as they lost 5 rounds to, well, I mean, aside from the one where Fnatic won the whole map, right? When they won their maps previously, it was almost always a dominant scoreline, and now Wildcard have put up a serious fight. Aerowolf, we're all looking at you now. Are we going to a 3rd map?
Might well be, and honestly, I would have been surprised either way if we didn't. But, you know, the manner with which this Bank play is coming out from Wildcard, it's very reminiscent of yesterday. So they lose the first map to Xavier Esports, 7-3. Then second and third map are just so comfortable for Wildcard.
It was a landslide. 7-1, 7-4 landslide over Xavier there. What do we say here, Idfian? Aerowolf, what is it that they're not doing right? Now, of course, we are flipping the switch, going over to an Aerowolf defensive half. Is that the thing that's going to make the difference here? Or is this wildcard aggression that we've seen on defense going to translate to an equal amount of success on the attacking side?
It's hard to say, really, because Hysterics on the Ella, he can do some real damage. But the funny thing is, he's not brought the shotgun. He is bringing the Scorpion, and not sure if the server stairs hold will be as hard as you usually see it. Ysera on the pulse. This is very, very OG stuff. You don't usually see Yasser on the pulse anymore. He's going to get very punchy on the very long angle. 30 seconds elapsed. It's decent amount of time gone, but Luna Metal is going to be the one getting the first pick onto Ethan. So similar stuff, I think. A bit of a poor drone work and the free-flowing nature of Bank allowing the roamers to do a lot of damage.
You know what's so essential about that? Aerowolf going for that roam, they take out the Jackal. Now they can play into that roam even more. They may well decide to actually default back onto that bomb site. Got the advantage, now go home with it. Force Wildcard into the next step, especially as Wildcard have no more smoke grenades to utilize. Now we'll have to see. Aerowolf does look like it's almost fully a default back to the bomb site. The only thing you could call a roam would be Hysterics hard holding inside the blue stairs still, as we see Wildcard opening up these hatches. Indeed, it is all players on the objective. Ysera wants to be aggressive. He does a bit of damage to Derp. Derp counting his lucky stars. He escaped that with his life. Now Wildcard moving on to the next step. They've made that first charge, opening up these hatches. Now they need to take control of server, and they're going to meet Hysterics ready with the Scorpion for this. They've already destroyed his deployable shield, but he's holding fast.
He even has lost his Grismo mine, and there we
go.
He's going to win, at least kind of win the first gunfight. Neofighter shoots him in the head, but Emarine has been down, and that's not really a good look for him, especially when the margins are so fine, especially with the Master Evil Eyes in play. Server is not being held by Aerowolf, and Wildcard have got this pretty easily, and one Grismo mine is going to detonate, but it's to no effect. Now, Gold Vault play is going to come out from Aerowolf right away. They have a C4, 2 C4s ready. Smokes as well. So denial is perfect. What can Wildcard do to prevent this denial from coming out? Because if it does, it's over.
Diesel is so good at this dance, though. He's done it 1,000 times before. Start that plant, get it down, force the enemy to start using that utility, but he takes way too much damage on that one, as does Emarine. Chokes out on that long angle. Now Diesel is so very lit up. Even that C4 placed quite far away will be his demise. One whiff of that smoke, and he's out of the game too. Dirtbeck can find one. Diesel just waiting for all this utility to fly by, but Wildcard, they have to get aggressive here, and Diesel doesn't wait long enough. Neofighter tries to go for that plant, but he can't make it happen. Mental's doing so much work with the smoke. Dirtbeck goes down as well, and Aerowolf are back in this game, kicking it off with a strong CCTV defense.
Now, in the previous games for Wildcard, I was talking with Flux, the coach for Wildcard Gaming, who isn't here, and I was just saying that it all comes down when these kinds of advantages are created. It all comes down to the first round after the side swap. It's a very, very good barometer for what's going to happen next. If Aerowolf had lost that, especially if they lost it convincingly for Wildcard, that would have been the map done and dusted. Maybe they would have picked up a few rounds here and there, but that would have shown that Wildcard has the strength. Now, you talked about Diesel doing the dance really well. This time, he kind of faltered, got his feet crossed over.
I think it was partly that Maestro camera as well. We've seen those Maestro cameras for Denial been working really well for both of these teams. Interesting to note, Aerowolf opted not to take the Echo downstairs. Instead of utilizing both the Echo and the Maestro for that plant denial and information gathering, they seem to be going for a one or the other situation. Downstairs, Maestro was their preference. Now upstairs, they'll go with Speakeasy on the Echo. As we haven't seen Aerowolf's CEO defense here today, of course, we haven't seen them play Bank so far in this tournament on LAN. They did have it lined up to be map number 3 earlier today against Norengo, but they didn't need 3 maps. Norengo only took 3 rounds. Aerowolf have been on fire. This is the first time during this tournament where we've actually seen Aerowolf look mortal. And Aerowolf, well, Wildcard certainly want to stop them from making it any further here. Wildcard would love to take Seed 1. Both of these teams Seed 2 out of their local sub-regions in the shadow of Xavier and Fnatic, and one of them will break out, take first seed into the Global Pro League Finals in Tokoname next month.
Sarah, oh what? No, prepping for the impact trick. It doesn't work out because Emarine's already on the windows, and I talked about this yesterday, or rather earlier today as well. If you are late on your preparation, teams are going to punish you for it. Norengo did it once to Aerowolf. Aerowolf couldn't do it to Norengo on the other hand, and now Aerowolf with Ysera, they're going to pay for it yet again.
Another kill for Wildcard, nice and early as well. They may have had a blip there on that downstairs attack, but they want to finish this map nice and early. Take us over to map number 3, Villa. Ima in for another one. What is this? A cascade of kills. Now Aerowolf know they need to do something. 2 minutes left and a 5-on-2 for Wildcard.
Not looking good at all for Aerowolf. I don't know what has happened to them. Maybe too much aggression. We couldn't quite tell because everything happened so very quickly. Late game reinforcements, or rather late round reinforcements in terms of the action phase. What a shot from Luna Metal. And Speakeasy powers up with his first 2 kills off the map. And how important are those two? Just running out and taking down 2 very important players. The pings are coming out as well. And Ethan, he doesn't know where they're coming from.
5 versus 2 now become a 2 versus 2, but make that a 2 versus 1. Ethan does lock the headshot onto Luna Metal. Speakeasy. Echo's a great operator to clutch on, can deny the plant, can gain information. And he also has 2 fantastic weapons to take these gunfights, long or short range. 2 Wildcard players separated now. Speakeasy goes for some pre-fires. He has plenty of information. Goes for another pre-fire. What is Dirtbear going to do? Looking for that. Oh no, just misses the player at the thermite charge and he gets shut down. Great usage of that Sophia utility, and Wildcard is on match points on map number 2.
Really, really good stuff. The utility was inch perfect from Wildcard, and they really seem to have woken up. Smashing Aerowolf 6-2 right now. I mean, goodness. Throughout this weekend, as you said, they have never looked as mortal as they are looking right now. Now, they almost won that round. Speakeasy finally came alive with his 2 frags over there. But a bit of a misplay from Luna Metal in the end. His positioning just not strong enough.
There's only so much you can ask of the 2 versus 5, and I think they got so damn close. Unfortunately, they couldn't convert any more than those original 3 kills they managed to scavenge. Now, the story for Wildcard here, match point, they've come back after a 7-4 loss on Clubhouse, Aerowolf's map, taking it to their own map of Bank. We didn't have a lot of info on Aerowolf for this map. We thought maybe Aerowolf have been watching Wildcard's Bank, maybe they're ready with something. But Wildcard, they've come out of the gate swinging. This is the first time where we've actually seen a serious lead against Aerowolf here. 6-2 right now, match point. This entire tournament, Wildcard have looked like the underdogs. Going up against Xavier, that was a revenge story. Xavier knocked them out last season at the APAC final. They took that victory, but only after a hard-fought first map where Xavier actually took the first one. They came back for a more dominant second and third. Now moving into the next game, Wildcard had a revenge against Cyclops, who they most recently lost to over a spot at the 6 Major Raleigh. They made that look fairly easy, to be quite honest. And now here against Aerowolf, it looks like we may see that underdog starting to creep up as well.
Now, of course, Wildcard are a great bank team. We cannot understate that enough. You know, this whole season, they haven't played that much bank, however, so it is probably something that Aerowolf didn't really know, except for the game against CAG just now, of course. And whatever attempt at reading into Wildcard's playstyle they must have tried, well, it's clearly not worked out because they are facing 4 match points, and Wildcard really should be taking this away. I don't think they're going to let this slip.
Aero did a great job of curbing Wildcard's aggression on Clubhouse. Eventually read into that playstyle fairly quickly and started to change things. But Wildcard here, they're throwing off, especially now on the attacking half, throwing off Aerowolf. Match point, Diesel ready. Only 1 minute subsided. He needs a player to cover him as he opens up this wall with the thermite charge. Looks like Aerowolf aren't trying to contest this in any way. Not trying to go for an aggressive play onto Diesel or the thermite at all. Any of those players starting to push in from the skylight side. That's 1 thermite charge exploding one of those east-facing CEO walls. The second one now as well. And Aerowolf are waiting for the fight to come to them instead of making these aggressive plays.
Funny thing is, Wildcard in ANZ in the season, they haven't really had much success on attacking this bomb site. They've had 3 losses. and only 1 win out of 4 attempts. But once they have come here to APAC Finals, we've talked about this, landform is so much different than what you see online, and right now they're looking good to win this bomb site again. Neophyte has a very long angle, and he's just going to send some shots through. What can Aerowolf do? They can't really contest any of this. And Mentor is inside of Janitor's. He will almost lose his life, but survives just barely. And he's gonna die too.
No way!
No way! I thought that was... What?
Now we have Wildcard starting to get their heads in the game. It's match point, 5-on-3. They have this control, and there's another one for Dirtbear. Is there anything that Lunametal and Hysterics can do? Hysterics coming from below, but Lunametal's the last remaining man on site. Looks away at the wrong time. A 1-on-5, make that a 1-on-4, but how much can you really do in this moment, Jeremy? You need to step up. You're the Jaeger. You can't deny from below with the C4. You need to take these fights with your trusty rifle, but they're planting the diffuser, and you have to keep going. You can find another one here, 3 more. I certainly think you know how to count. First 2 kills, done and dusted. Now Wildcard, they're feeling the pressure. Hysterics needs to make this play work. Don't do that! He can find 2 players, but there's 1 more left. There's no way he can make this happen. No way he can get to the diffuser in time. He has to run all the way outside, expose the whole time, get upstairs. Dirtbear could just run and hide, and there's nothing that Hysterics can do. Surely this map is going the way of Dirtbear, and to add insult to injury, he repels on the window, and there's a Claymore! That's the map for Wildcard.
Look at the smiles on Silex, Emorin, Ethan, everyone really. And Ethan cracking that smile, that's a rare one, and it's a fantastic play because they know what they have just done. They have shredded Aerowolf here on Bank, something not even Fnatic could achieve.
Yeah, I wrote down 7-2 on my sheet of paper there before the match was finally confirmed, and I was starting to get a little bit worried towards the end there, just thinking, oh, hang on, actually, is this possible? But no, I look at that for Aerowolf, and 7-2 is obviously not a hugely close map, but I don't think they kind of go out of that one feeling too disappointed. I mean, you've talked extensively about how Bank is not a bad one there for Wildcard, and they look. Just having a look back on the stage there, they look like they know what they need to do. They're having a bit of a chat here, just resetting themselves. They're not going off stage or anything like that. It really seems like right now, Aerowolf are getting down to business and not letting that map affect them at all.
Well, that will be the key. That is what actually has got them this far, not letting the pushbacks affect them too much. Of course, it doesn't always work out. It hasn't worked out so far in this map, the second one, but the third one, I think they're going to be fairly okay with it. This is, of course, one of Wildcard's best maps, and took a while for them to warm up against CAG, but they did it at the end. 5 rounds in a row.
Yeah, we talked about how Aerowolf banned 2 of the best maps that we often see from Wildcard, Consular and Coastline, but they had to leave Bank in there. That's their next best map. To at least to outside viewers, in our opinion. And look, Aerowolf, there was never really a moment where we thought they were actually going to put a serious dent to Wildcard, but that's only that map. Aerowolf took their map, Wildcard take theirs. That's what we have a decider for, Jordan.
That seems pretty fair to me, Dev. I think we can go ahead and agree to that. But you're right, that deciding map, that's what we're all really looking forward to here. Now, for anyone that wasn't paying attention during the veto process, that final map is going to be Villa. I don't want to talk too much about that just yet. Obviously, we'll talk about that when we come back from the break. But how do you think both teams are feeling at the moment after those first couple of maps? It does sort of seem to me like it's more of a 50-50 at the moment. Like, neither team is necessarily too far ahead or anything like that in terms of momentum or in terms of form or just general fragging ability or anything like that.
Yeah, like we use that word form quite a lot. We're saying this is Aerowolf in top form. They've looked so good. Beat Nora, beat Fnatic, had a really good start on map number 1. I think that you can't really say one team of these has a leg up on form over the other. We thought that maybe at the very start, Wildcard had the momentum rolling on from their semi-final, but then maybe we were theorizing that the time that the fatigue was setting in. They've just been playing for so long now. I think there are just so many factors there, and it's very hard to speculate that into an actual conclusion because both of these teams look 50-50.
Tell you what, Dev, you don't need to speculate any longer. It is, of course, time for us to take one final break. This will be the last time, though, as we only have one map remaining here in the Season 10 finals of the APAC Pro League. Don't go too far, though, because this one is sure to be a banger.